talk tonight is about how AI isn't going to kill product management, which is very timely because today, this very day, this came out into my email box from my two dear friends, Akash Gupta and Claire Vo, both of whom have been on my podcast. Check the QR code or the link to go and find them. But I kind of disagree, and I don't really think it's true. So let's talk about that. I mean, look, there's a lot of noise, right? Including that little quote that I just posted out there. There's all this noise about how product management is going to die. We're all going to get replaced by AI automation and like we don't have to do any of our jobs anymore. Software development's going to die, so all of the software developers out there, they don't get to laugh at us for too long because all of their code's being replaced by LLMs as well. But that's okay because UX are right in there with us. That's all going to die as well because we can just, like PMs can just do that bit with prototyping tools now. But that's okay because we haven't got long anyway because SaaS is going to die because we don't need to do that. It's all agents now and hyper-personalized apps that are being built on the fly for people somehow. But that's okay because management's going to die soon anyway. So we're not even going to have anyone checking it out. And we're all just going to be, like HR teams are just going to be managing AI agent teams for some reason. But after all of that, employment's going to die anyway. No one's going to have a job and we're all going to get turned into paper clips or glue. Not a great scenario for the most of us. But it does make me think, like, who are we listening to on this stuff? And bear with me on this one. Like, there are some people that I think, all people, we should always be careful when we listen to people, right? Including me. We'll come back to me. But, like, people that make money out of you believing this stuff and want you to subscribe to their newsletter or listen to their podcast or get subscription money or sponsorship money for that stuff, you should probably just, like, double check what they're saying. People that are selling you AI tools that specifically require you to believe this stuff to give them money on a monthly basis, which still happens to be SaaS somehow, you should probably be careful of those people too. It doesn't mean that they're wrong, it just means maybe check. People that just get excited about everything. This stuff looks like magic. Okay, cool. Is it magic? Who knows, but it looks like magic, and I'm just excited about everything. Brilliant. Maybe check. People that don't know about how any of this stuff works, but they've been taken in by all these other people. They could, again, be wrong, but ultimately they're looking at this from a kind of bottom line. How much money can we save? Doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean that's a bad thing for them to aspire to, but it doesn't mean they're right either. On the other hand, there are people that just don't think anything's going to work. Now, spoiler alert, you can probably get quite a few predictions right if you think that nothing's going to work, because a lot of things don't. There are people out there that think that AI is going to take over. We're all going to get smashed to pieces by Terminators. And, I don't necessarily think that we need to worry about that from ChatGPT quite yet. Ostriches who keep their head in the sand and just don't think anything's ever going to change. I don't think that's ever been true. And even if AI isn't as good as some people think it is, I think it's still better than not doing anything at all. But also, don't necessarily have to listen to me. I don't have any special future insight. I always like to say that people who make predictions about how this stuff isn't going to take over the world are one announcement away from being proven wrong and made to look like an idiot. But all I can do is look at what I see and my understanding of how these things work and how people work and what I then think is going to happen as the ultimate end game of all of this stuff. But why should we be wary? Surely it's okay to just believe all of this stuff, right? Well, we all know that LLMs and generative AI in general is kind of prone to hallucinations, and that's not supposedly like that solvable a problem. They can't really be trusted, and they don't really know what they're talking about, as nicely typeset as it might be. There's this talk these days of model collapse, the fact that they're running out of data and they're starting to have to be trained on themselves and kind of eating themselves up, and maybe they're not even quite getting, or the rate of change is slowing down, and they're not going to get as good as people think that they were going to do. There's the general issues of these companies, the fact that unlike a lot of let's call them good companies that make money, all of these companies are losing money, and every single user actually makes them lose even more money. So who knows what's going to happen if they get to that next 100 million users? That's costing them money every time. And obviously DeepSeek and the like have maybe changed that a little bit, but it's still not fixed the fundamentals. And there's just this general feeling from certain circles, from people that are very credible and know what they're talking about, that maybe they're just not going to get as good as people thought they were going to be. So that doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean you shouldn't use them, but it maybe means you should kind of calm down on the dramatic assertions. And also there's just this general feeling, and I don't know if anyone here has been had a Copilot license foisted on them, or Google Gemini foisted on them, or just another app that you log into that says, oh, you've got AI in it now. It can't be good for everything, and lots of people are starting to rebel against that. So, some of the hero use cases for AI in product management. Writing PRDs. Who uses AI for PRDs? There you go, good. Who uses them to summarize user interviews? There you go, good. Product strategy, anyone using for that? Oh, a couple of people. Synthetic user research, anyone doing that? Let's ask the robots what they think. Or even turning product managers into product engineers, or even indeed engineers into product engineers. Now, the last thing I think that most companies that I've ever worked with need is more shitty code going into the code base and more tech debt piling up because someone who barely understands what the thing is pumping out thinks that that's something that can go out into the wild. Now, all of these are valid use cases for using LLMs within product management, but it leaves me a bit cold because I'm sitting there thinking, well, what about the soft skills that we like to talk about and the decision making, the actual strategizing? I've never seen a single strategy come out of one of these things that actually takes a position and says, go and do that, and this is the evidence, and helps you persuade people that that's the thing to do, and helps you to storytell and align and empathize with people. Like, that's what I want product managers doing in the first place. I don't want product managers spending all of their time writing product requirement documents. Like, I'm happy for that to get taken away and automated if it needs to be. I don't think, though, that just doing these things is all of a sudden like, no more product management anymore. And I don't actually even think that the people that are saying the death of product management really think that product management is going to die. They just mean some of the rote tasks are going to go away. And ideally, that's a call to arms for product managers to actually go and do some of the work that they should have been doing anyway. So, two paths of AI product management. PMs who can already do the work, off to the promised shiny castle. PMs who can't do the work, they're into a world of trouble. People that know how to do the work and use these tools to accelerate them and get rid of some of the sluggy work that they didn't want to do anyway. I think that they're going to have a great time with AI because it's going to help them to do their best work and concentrate in the areas that they need to be concentrating on. But the people that are going to buy and subscribe to these tools and start to get really excited about these tools are the ones that don't know what they're doing, but they're going to think they kind of know what they're doing, or they're going to get non-PMs to come in and do some of that stuff because it can't be that hard really, and look, this document looks fine. And I personally think that they're going to be in a world of trouble. I genuinely think that the only people that are really going to succeed are the people that take the essence of product management around that alignment and strategy and storytelling and actually kind of being involved in the business and use AI to move them forward, not people that try and use it as a crutch and don't learn to do any of the things that they need to do or any of the thinking that they need to do. Big fan of the concept of inputs, not outputs. I mean, again, I don't know who uses what for what, but like, I don't want to see people using LLMs to kind of create stuff and then just out it goes, code or documents or requirements. Like, sure, use it as a kind of an initial draft and use it to kind of speed you up and get some of the stuff in the right place. But you've got to read it. Like, anyone that's used LLMs to talk about something or to tell them something about something that they already know quite a lot about will automatically know that it's effectively the same as an image with 6 fingers. Like, there's no sort of deeper indictment of an LLM output than asking it something that you know lots about and seeing what it says. Always get something wrong. Use it as an input, but don't worry about, or don't try and use it as an output. Use it as a start point, and don't bet your company on it. I mean, I've not yet seen a company that's used an LLM to kind of bet the entire future of the company on. I would love to see it. I wonder what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be pretty. On the other hand, it doesn't matter how good it is, we're being told to use it anyway, right? So I do think it's important to understand and actually dig into what LLMs can actually do. Because it's not nothing. They can do a lot of stuff. And I think it's important. I read a lot about them. I listen to a lot of podcasts about them. And I kind of come to this idea of like, don't trust, but do verify. Like, definitely use them for what they're good at, but check it. Like, don't just ship it. Like, you should check it. And I think that the people that aren't checking it are going to get into a bit of trouble. But also there's this idea of like, and this is sort of a product management disease in a sense, like this idea that if you're seen as the person that doubts everything, then you stop getting invited to meetings. So don't just sit there and say, oh, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Like, you do have to be positive enough and constructive enough, but also realistic. You have to be truth-telling. You need to be the kind of the voice of reason in the room. If you're just going to sit there and parrot whatever you read or listen to on some podcast, again, you're probably not going to be invited to those meetings for too long. I do think it's important to see through the hype, keep up to date, and use your own critical thinking. I think this is my last slide. Of the 50 that I've snuck in via the animations. I would say that I don't genuinely think that most AI PMs are actually AI PMs at all. And by that I mean, or rather, even if they are, they shouldn't be. I've never been a fan of AI, of product managers being tech first. and maybe that's controversial for some, but I think that falling in love with the tech and like everything looks like a nail when you've got a hammer. Fall in love with the problems as ever, and if AI is the solution to those problems, then use AI to fix those problems. If not, do your product management job and go out and find out what the right answer to those problems really is, and go and then start to align people and build strategies and build products that solve that problem, not just trying to sort of smoosh AI into everything. It's important that we let product managers be product managers and not just force them all to be prompt engineers or whatever the cool phrase is these days. So that is me. Hopefully, I don't know what the time is. Oh, I've run out of time. But yeah.